Hey Besties!
Hey,
Welcome back for another episode of the Hello Bestie podcast. I'm Maggie.
I'm Tashima.
And it's Book Club Tuesday! Bam, bam, bam! All right, Tima, you want to tell everybody what our book of the month was?
So, we did Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. So, I'll read a brief synopsis of the book. For those of you that don't know. After Lucy is found wandering the streets covered in her best friend Savvy's blood, everyone thinks she's a murderer. Lucy and Savvy were the golden girls of their small Texas town. Pretty, smart, enviable. Lucy married a dream guy with a big ring and an even bigger new home. Savvy was the social butterfly loved by all, and if you believe the rumors, especially popular with the men in town. It's been years since that horrible night, a night Lucy can't remember anything about, and she has since moved to LA and started a new life. But now, the phenomenally huge hit true crime podcast, Listen for the Lie, and its two good-looking hosts, Ben Owens, have decided to investigate Savvy's murder for the show's second season. Lucy is forced to return to the place she vowed never to set foot in again to solve her friend's murder. Even if she is the one that did it. The truth is out there if we just listen. So, yeah, that is the book.
That is very...
have a couple of questions.
Okay.
If you want to indulge me.
Let's get into it.
So, what were your overall thoughts of Lucy as the protagonist? In what ways is she different, but also similar to typical thriller protagonists? I think this works because you read a few thrillers too.
Yes, so I will say that this book actually sparked me to read more thrillers.
Oh,
because prior to reading this one, I wouldn't have had a lot to compare it to.
So with the exception of the one that we read for Halloween, episode 13?
Episode 13.
You hadn't read any, so this is your second thriller?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So comparing it to that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that book was nuts. You couldn't even, that is like a, I don't even know. That's a squash compared to, you couldn't even say apples and oranges.
Yes. So I would say now that I've read a few more thrillers, I'm just really learning not to trust anybody.
Okay.
Any good character, someone who seems good, just always just have like a, attitude for anyone.
Maggie's like guilty until proven innocent.
Basically, yes. From what you think, because you think you have someone. But I like Lucy as a protagonist. I think that what happened to her was very unfortunate because she herself was very honest about, I love my best friend, but I cannot say with any certainty if I did this or not. And she was very upfront about that. So you have to respect that, you know. It would be very different if she's like, I don't remember anything about that night, but I know I never would have done anything like that. Because she said herself, if I don't remember, it means exactly that. I do not remember. So. And
I couldn't say yes or no.
Yeah.
I think she was the perfect protagonist because of her personality style. Like her sarcasm and just her sense of humor. Overall, it made it very easy to not like her.
She had very gallus humor and very dark humor too, and that mixed with sarcasm just...
And being accused of murder, it just...
Even her speaking with her family, she would just make little comments like, well, I'm a murderer, so why am I going to go around and, you know...
Take my word for it.
But it's almost like if you're just so used to people calling you that regardless... I could see how she begins to make a joke of it, try to make light of it, because
otherwise it just gets unbearable.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a coping mechanism.
But I think before that, I could see her having a very similar style personality. Like, I don't think that developed after.
No, not at all. You can tell that's her personality. And she got it from her grandma.
Yeah,
clearly.
Definitely. They were, that is exactly how she's going to be when she gets older.
Exactly, yeah.
When you read thrillers, do you try to solve the mystery as well?
Again, being new to the thriller genre, I try to. I think I'm just trying to be more than anything, I know that there's going to be some kind of twist, so I just find myself really trying to figure out what that twist is going to be.
Yeah.
And I'm pleased to say, I don't know if this is because I'm so new to the genre and I just haven't read enough to see things coming, but even reviews for this book, people are like, "Oh, I saw the plot twist coming." I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly didn't see it coming. So, do I
So
try
when
to
you say
solve
the
it? Yes.
plot twist, you mean you knew there would be a twist, you just didn't know that it would be that.
Yes.
Okay.
I,
Same.
I mean, I expect with most thrillers, just by the genre, by
Mm-hmm.
definition, that there's going to be some kind of twist.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was expecting one. It wasn't the one that I thought it was going to be, and that's really refreshing to read a book and kind of, you know.
Who did you think it was going to be?
Honestly, I thought it was Matt.
Mm. I did for a hot minute.
Yeah, I thought it was him.
Yeah.
I thought maybe him and Savvy had a thing going on, and then he was messing with the girl Nina, and then for a minute I was kind of like, oh, maybe she did something here. So then she was talking to Emmett, and this whole, it was not who I thought it was gonna be.
So I thought it would be Matt, but then, and I never thought that he and Savvy were together. I definitely thought that it would be, they actually tried to go through with it, and then, sorry y'all, there's a moth that got in, and it's just flying around. I thought that they tried to go through with it, but then he was able to overpower them and wanted to then frame Lucy for the murder of her best friend to teach her a lesson. And by doing so was like, you can't stay here.
Got it.
So that was my, and that was the next question. Do you feel like she was the killer? Let's see.
I never thought Lucy did it.
No?
Mm-mm.
I was starting to think, so then let me ask you this. Would you have been disappointed if it did turn out that the twist was that she did do it?
I would have been, yes.
Would you have been like heartbroken, or would it have made you hate the book? Would you just been like, man?
I would have been like, man. I wouldn't have hated the book. I wouldn't have felt like, well, this is a throwaway waste of time.
Okay.
But I would have been like, man. Now, as she's describing, and then it mentioned her seeing the piece of wood, like finding that, I started kind of, no, man, don't tell me you did this. Come on.
Yeah.
So, but no, ended up not being that.
Ever since that night of Savvy's murder, Lucy experiences intrusive, murderous thoughts through Savvy as a proxy. What did you make of these thoughts and illusions? Why is she experiencing it? Will this continue now that the murder is solved?
Okay, so you know how I am about voices, and I understand the idea of that, but just the sporadic, let's kill, was like, okay.
Yeah, it was very annoying.
As an audio thing, I couldn't stand that. Just maybe it was the way it was said or whatever. Let's kill.
It was very annoying, and it also very much resembled the voice of the grandmother.
Yes.
Which then made it very confusing.
Maybe reading it would have delivered differently, but listening to it was more annoying than anything. But
it was annoying until it actually formed a person in conversation. But even these, I mean, I guess the whole point was for it to be obnoxious because it's coming at these very inopportune times,
right?
And it's supposed to distract you, but it was extremely distracting.
It was annoying. It was annoying indeed.
Do you think that it will continue now that everything is solved?
I mean, probably.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I mean, it did, didn't it?
It did, but I think it flipped more in a different way.
Right.
But here's the thing. So Savvy was not this perfect victim like everyone made it seem like she was. You know, it's like, oh, beautiful girl, super popular, loved by everyone. And it's like, no, she was actually kind of rude, like all over every single guy and slept around. And a lot of people didn't really like her.
Right.
And she herself was a murderer. So for that reason, I don't think it would have stopped because Savvy thought nothing of killing people.
Yeah.
So I don't really, if that's kind of who she was as a person, if somebody's a problem, off them, let's do this.
But how do you attribute that to the voice that Lucy's hearing?
Because the voice I thought was based off of previous conversations that she's had with Savvy before. So if Savvy's talked about killing people before, it just feels like if Lucy was in a situation where someone angered her, I don't think it would be uncommon to hear a Savvy voice.
Right.
Even though Savvy's murder has been solved and that's all tightened up. Just throughout Lucy's life, I just...
Giving you permission to do something that you actually know is wrong because your best friend didn't think that it was wrong as long as it was justified.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same. I completely agree.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what the next question is. Everyone but Lucy's grandmother believes that Lucy killed Savvy that night. Why didn't anyone else in her life support her? What kind of impact did that have on Lucy?
I feel like Lucy's family really put on airs and cared a lot about what other people thought. Mm-hmm. And it's just really, I'm glad that she had her grandmother, because if she didn't have her grandmother, seriously, who else would she have had?
Yeah.
I understand when two people get married that we all become family, but I just still feel like that's your child. Accept their spouse, love their spouse, treat them as your own. But there is no comparing to your actual child that you raise. Mm-hmm. So how do you let this man come and tell you something about your daughter?
And you just believe it.
You just believe it without even talking to your daughter, without even trying to understand. So I think the dad tried his best in a way, as best as he could, to try to protect her in a way of just, hey, don't talk to anybody, don't say anything type of thing. But in that, she's not able to prove her innocence either.
Yeah, and it just automatically assumes that she's guilty because of what Matt told you.
Right.
And which is just crazy. Like, the whole thing of, like you said, like, just believing that what Matt told you is true, that she did kill Savvy, but you also then, like, you were saying that based off of secondhand information.
Right. Her mom just annoyed me. I could not stand her mom. Her mom was like the worst of the, I couldn't stand her mom.
But that is not uncommon for those small,
no, it's not at all,
southern little towns, where everybody knows everybody's business, everybody's sleeping with everybody, and everything is about appearances.
And the mama was getting loose too.
They all were. Nuts. What was your impression of Ben and his podcast? Why was he drawn to Lucy romantically, and what do you think of their dynamic?
I mean, they describe Ben as being like really hot, so I always appreciate that. I loved the podcast. Like when the music started, I was like, I wish this was a real podcast that I could listen to.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but there was so many times where the music would start. I don't know if so sometimes when you're listening to an audiobook, does it end with music? And it says, you've listened to...
Yes.
So when I heard the music, it automatically took me to, this is the end of the book. So the music just really put me into the podcast. And I enjoyed the concept of it wholeheartedly.
I did too. I loved the concept of it. I thought it was really, really unique. Cool. Yes. I liked Ben. I liked that he told her straight up, I'm going to tell the truth. Do you think I murdered? I don't know, but I'm going to try my best to find out. And even after they slept together, he still was just kind of like, he never had to lie to do anything with her. And I appreciated that.
And I also appreciated that he didn't start to bend things. I mean, he did a little bit in the end.
In the end, but that was after he already knew.
Correct.
Right.
And he wasn't trying to, help her cover up because now all of a sudden he's in love with her.
Right.
That would have just turned me off the whole book.
I agree.
I would have not wanted to finish it.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
And there was also a point in time where I thought that he was going to confess that they were romantically involved on the podcast. So and I was like, please don't, please don't, please don't, please don't.
Yeah, you're going to ruin your credibility for everything, sir.
Definitely. What do you think about the scene where she was choking him?
Okay, look. He was into it, and that's what was
very into it.
Yeah, that's what's most important.
Yeah.
I was very like, oh, that should be the last time you ever get with this girl, because
Yeah.
That was beyond some kinky choking. This was like, I will kill
Yeah.
you type of
He
thing.
was like about to be passed out.
Yeah. Super into it.
Did you think for a second when she said that he was coughing and gasping for air?
I thought
Did
she
you,
was killing him.
but do you think, yeah, she was.
Yeah.
But do you think he was going to be like, get off of me, crazy bitch? Like,
I was hoping that he would. I totally
yeah, and
didn't
then
think
they
it
just
was
kept.
just, yeah.
It's like, y'all some freaky freaks.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
that's a new kink? Okay.
Yeah. That was muy delicioso. So I definitely enjoyed that part. um, let's see. When do you think Ben started to believe that Lucy might be innocent?
I think once he interviewed Matt and then just saw him, probably when he got punched by Matt, and just his interaction with Matt was probably like, okay, I just think the more he did his research, probably around the same time when I'm not, I think I just always hoped that she didn't do it. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say the same time that we did, but
Mm-hmm.
I would just say the more he did his research, like finding out that his mom was sleeping with the guy at the wedding, like he just was able to poke so many holes in it. He just created a lot of reasonable doubt.
Yeah. I appreciated that he didn't, like, he saved these things to say, so what about this? And she's like, how did you know about that?
Mm-hmm.
Or, he had so much information that she knew and that she didn't know. I also appreciated that, well, not appreciated. I think that the moment he believed that she was innocent after he spoke with Matt's second wife, future ex. I think for him, that was the moment that he was like, yeah, you were probably just as much of a victim.
And the funny thing is, well, not the funny thing, but Lucy had every chance to admit that Matt was abusive to her.
Yeah.
But she's like, no, I don't want to play the whole abusive wife thing and try to have them. But like, even something that was completely true and would have given her credibility, I'm not even going to go down that road because honestly, what does it matter at this point? We're not together and this and that. So.
And I don't need a bunch of people just sitting here and being like, oh my God,
right.
Oh my God, which they did anyway.
Right.
How do we not know?
Yeah.
I was very happy that her and Savvy's sister were able to have resolution.
Me too.
That meant a lot.
Yeah, it did.
Because at first I'm like, why are you doing this? Every time I turn around, you're sneaking, running off to go talk to somebody on the low. But it made sense. All of the choices that she made actually made sense.
They all worked out in her favor. Eventually. Eventually,
yes. Yeah. A big component of the novel is Lucy's relationship with her ex-husband, Matt, who is extremely abusive to her. Everyone, I think we just answered this. Everyone in the town loves him and has no idea of his true nature. Let's talk about why Lucy hid the truth about Matt from everyone except Savvy. Why didn't Lucy want to reveal Matt's true nature on the podcast? Which we just
talked about.
Yeah. Right. It is unfortunate that stuff like that happens very often, and
Savvy did know.
Yeah, but that was also like her best friend, and honestly, when people talk about soulmates, I do think that it's possible. Like, your soulmate doesn't always have to be.
It could be platonic.
Correct.
Yeah.
It could just be like I honestly and truly believe that Lucy and Savvy were each other's soulmates.
Yes.
Like, when they were talking in the car about going away together, I was just like, these are actual soulmates. Like how the whole fight and everything. I guess I need to not get ahead of myself. We learned that Savvy murdered a man in self-defense in college. Was Savvy serious about murdering Matt too? Why did Lucy never reveal this fact about Savvy?
I think Savvy was definitely for real about murdering Matt because he's hurting her and she doesn't want her friend, her soulmate, to be hurt. And I think that Lucy didn't do that because Savvy died protecting her.
Yeah.
Savvy was trying to save Lucy's life, and that's how she ended up dying, basically. And Lucy got super injured in the process as well. So I think after going through something like that, the most that Lucy could do for Savvy is to protect her name and keep her memory good.
Especially when everybody was painting her as this angel.
Yeah, let you guys. Yeah. I'm gonna let you guys think that.
I'm not gonna make you think that she was like some slut going around plotting people's murders.
Right.
You know, no.
Yeah, she was good to Lucy, and I think in turn she wanted to be, you know, good to her posthumously.
Yeah. Look at you with your fancy words. At first, it seems Emmett played a small role as Lucy's childhood friend who was in love with her. Did you suspect that there was anything more going on with Emmett, or were you surprised when he was the true villain all along?
I was surprised when he was the true villain.
Same.
I was really surprised. He seemed like this really nice guy who always kind of liked her, and almost like two passing ships in the night. Like, man, if only we had given each other. Like, that's what it felt like to me. They would have been great together had she given him a chance, had the timing been right. And then you find out that he messed around with Savvy. It was kind of like, oh, man. Yeah. But Savvy had told Lucy that, like, later, right?
When she saw Lucy and Emmett making out at the wedding, the night of the murder.
Right. She didn't tell him immediately after it happened. But, yeah, Savvy did eventually tell her.
She was like, no, you don't want to do that because... One, I've already been with him. Let me tell you, it's not great. Yeah. And two, there's something wrong up there. And then that's what led to the whole...
Yep.
But I was very surprised also because her and Emmett, there was never any expressed chemistry. Like, they had kissed once, but she didn't make it seem like... There was, like, heavy passion. She's thinking about him. So many regrets. It was more of, like... Oh, sorry. After the fact... It's been a long night. After the fact, man, you know, like, things might have been different had I been with him and not Matt. But I think it was more of a... this would have been safer. This would have been more comfortable. Maybe I wouldn't have gone through all of these things and all of that stuff. Like, I don't think she was, like, passionately into him.
No, I don't think so either. I think, well, she did say that they had kissed before, and that was, like, kind of hot, she felt, at the time. But she was also married to Matt at the time, or maybe engaged to him.
Married.
They were married. Yeah. So...
But they were actively cheating on each other, so.
I think there was part of this, like, this guy has always been a really great guy to me, a really good friend, and I wonder what would have happened if, you know, I had given him a chance instead of, like, gone with this bad boy type. Yeah. So.
I was shocked.
Yeah, I was shocked, too. And then just the playing in her face like that the whole time.
For years.
That's a whole different type of sickness.
Yeah. Psycho.
That's a whole different type of sickness.
Yeah.
You hit someone with a hammer repeatedly so bad to where they have a brain injury, and now you're just in their face because you know that they can't really remember. That's wild.
And still wanted to be with her and, like, run away together.
And would have done that had she not shut you down again, and you just flip, like, just because you don't get what you want, you just turn. That's crazy. Nuts. And she didn't really realize it until she saw him getting physical with the girl Nina.
Yeah. Well, it all started coming together in, like, these little bits and pieces, which that whole part I just enjoyed. Like, her flashbacks, I was like,
yeah.
You know.
She's like, I felt someone touch my breast, but I didn't know who it was. It was like, remember.
Like, come on. What caused Lucy's memories to start flooding back? It was so funny that we're just, like, so in line with what these questions are. What were your thoughts as you read the true events of the night unfold? Did it...
Honestly, shock.
I was on the edge of my seat.
It's just one of those things where when you look at everything from a broad scope, there's so many moving pieces, and it could have happened so many different ways.
Yeah.
And that's what brings a really good story full circle. Because it's like, oh, but the mom was in a truck with this guy, and this person left the wedding early, but these people were still at the wedding, and they were supposed to drive this way when the road was closed, but the road wasn't closed quite yet, so they could have gone that way. So just, like,
Yeah.
Getting all those bits and pieces, it was very satisfying to get to the end.
And have it all make sense. Like, there wasn't any part that I felt didn't need to be there.
Right.
Like, everything made sense. Like, even little small pieces about Nina and all that, it just all was aligned.
Yep.
Lucy confronts Emmett, and the two get into a physical fight. Ben gets there just in time. Let's talk about Ben's confidence that Lucy would not, in fact, harm them.
Oh, you mean when he picked up the hammer?
Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think Ben was there to have her back, and he basically saw her chasing Emmett and clearly knew that if she's chasing Emmett with a hammer, something had to have gone down. And he saw some of Emmett's anger, too. He did his rounds. He interviewed everyone, so Ben knew more than he had actually let on with different things.
Right.
So he knew what was up. But I thought it was cool that he basically said that he admitted to trying to kill Lucy, even when he kind of hadn't, but he knew that people would believe him.
Right.
And he knew that to be true.
Because just her saying that, it still would be her word against his, and people would just say, you're just saying that because you don't want to be the murderer anymore.
Right.
Like, she would have had to have somebody with actual clout vouch that this is indeed true. But he was on the phone for a part of the time.
Right.
So, you know, like, he could move confidently saying, like, okay, which is obviously why he got in the car and went over there.
It also helped, too, the situation with Matt, where he had him, like, he was recording him, freaking out on him, and then Matt punched him.
Yeah.
And then he played that on his podcast to show how crazy Matt was.
Yeah.
So he had a habit of just documenting these things and then showing the public. So I think
everybody's
having that have happened first, it gave more credibility to what he was saying about Emmett.
Yeah, like, there are people here hiding things. This picture perfect guy that everybody loved and, you know, is really a woman beater.
Right.
You know, everybody's got these secrets, and let's go ahead and expose them. This person's mom is sleeping with this person who's like 15 years younger than her, and then these married people are all having affairs and, you know, uncovering all of this dirt. And it's crazy.
Flip that town upside down.
Yes. There wasn't anybody there that was unscathed.
Right.
Yeah.
Except the grandma. She was just there, like,
because she let it all in the open.
Right.
She was like, I got my friends. The truth is revealed, and Emmett is arrested for murder. However, Ben did tell a lie, as he said he heard Emmett confess.
Wow, this is crazy.
I know, isn't it weird? It goes along with Lucy saying throughout the novel that in some ways the truth doesn't really matter. What are your thoughts about how the novel covered truth and lies?
I think the novel did a good job of perpetuating that lies can be truth for a really, really long time if you don't do enough digging. To the point of, like, listen for the lie. If you're not listening for the lie, you will take a lot of things to be truth.
Yeah, and you can be easily distracted by what you see, but then also your bias towards that person. You know, people portrayed Lucy, Savvy in this particular way, and Lucy was very upfront. She was outspoken. She was willing to put people in check when they needed to be.
Right.
And so she got portrayed as, you know, the opposite.
She seems capable that she can do it.
Right.
And from the outside looking in, they're best friends and they go around all the time. They actually weren't best friends at first in high school. They became close later. Then they were very, very close. People saw them getting into a fight at the wedding, which wasn't normal for them.
Even happen.
They got into a fight, and then Lucy is found wandering on the street, blood all over her,
right?
And Savvy's dead.
And her DNA under Savvy's nails and all of this stuff. But then you find out that Emmett just told this whole story in this small town. You know, he told one person, and then other people told other people and told other people, and by the time it was over, it was law.
Yep.
You know, that this one person was able to spin this entire tale. You know, and beautifully, might I add.
Because it just, seriously.
You know, but the the thing that helped him is the fact that Lucy couldn't remember anything.
Mm-hmm.
And because of all of the trauma, she didn't want to remember.
And he knew that she couldn't remember, because if she did, she wouldn't want to be around him at all.
Right.
So it wasn't even out of fear, that she literally just didn't remember.
Right. I think it's crazy, though, that as much as he was obsessed with her, after it was all over, he didn't go after her. Like, when she left to go to LA, he just stayed there and built a life.
Yeah.
So he probably didn't want to be around her just in case she did remember.
Right.
So then when she came back, that's probably why he was so shocked to see her that first time.
Yeah.
Because she was like, he kind of looked like he saw a ghost type thing.
Right.
I guess hindsight, that makes sense.
Right.
Because he was probably thinking, oh shit.
Right.
And then she's like, hey. And he's like, hey.
Right.
And then like, okay, cool. She doesn't realize anything. Let's be together. She's like, okay. Which, when she was like, why don't you come to LA? I was like, no. Because I like the idea of her and Ben. They're kind of like toxic in a good way together. I like their chemistry.
I like their chemistry too. You know.
So what do you think is next for them?
I could see them being in a relationship.
Yeah?
Yeah. Or a situationship, because both of them he seems like, look, we're having fun. This is cool. I like you. And she seems like she's not looking for anything serious either. But
I think he likes her more than she likes him.
I think there's going to be much more appreciation for him.
Oh, yeah.
Now that he's cleared. Yeah.
Because she can actually move forward.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about when people found out that she was the writer of those romance novels?
Part of me was like, no, like, just don't ruin this for her. You know?
This one thing.
Just let her have this thing.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about her relationship with the guy?
What guy?
Her boyfriend in the
Nathan?
beginning. Yeah.
So lame.
What guy said it all?
I forgot about him. He was just so lame. I think that he was just... The fact that he was so nonchalant just seemed like, what are y'all doing? Like,
it was very entertaining to me when she could tell that he had started listening to the podcast but wasn't saying anything to her.
And like jump when she comes in the room. She's like, I miss Nathan not asking any questions. Like, to be in a relationship like that, I was just like, ugh, yuck. Yeah. You know,
she was just
like,
trying to have a place to stay.
Yeah, basically.
That's all it was.
Yeah. And how stupid he probably would feel after hearing that she was innocent.
Right.
Like, her managers from the job that let her go.
Everything.
The whole thing. Everybody who wrote her off. I liked at the end when she was just like, all of y'all, shame on you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, her parents and all that.
Yep.
And I get her dad was just like, I just wanted to protect you.
I like that they all did jail time. I like that they all got sentenced to something.
Wait, her parents?
I think her parents got sentenced.
I don't remember that. For what?
Forget. I think, girl, don't make me lie. I'm pretty sure her parents were charged with something.
I don't think so. I think she just in the hospital was
I
like...
want to say obstruction of justice or something.
I think she called them out on that. I don't remember them being charged with it. Oh, I thought I had my water.
In Listen for the Lie, Lucy's parents are charged with withholding evidence after Emmett is arrested for Savvy's murder.
Oh. Man, I missed that.
Lucy's parents' actions are a key part of the story's plot, as they are implicated in covering up information related to Savvy's death.
Oh. Dang. Mm-hmm. How did I miss that?
I forgot it was withholding evidence, but I thought it was obstruction of justice, but yeah.
Oh. Wow.
They didn't make a big deal of it. They said, like, in a one-line sentence of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I missed that completely. Mm-hmm. So, overall, how would you rate this book? Listen for the Lie. I
really like this book. I would give it a solid 4.5 probably.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I
It
like
was
the
a
book.
fun listen.
Yeah,
I think
it
it
was
would
easy.
be cool to read, but it was a really fun listen with the podcast and the
The
music
music,
and the
yes.
yeah.
This is a book where I would tell anyone, don't even bother with the book, actually listen to the audiobook because it makes a difference.
This book feels like what episode 13 was trying to accomplish. You know how it would cut to the episodes of the. This feels like they tried, but just
didn't execute it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this truly felt like you were listening to an audiobook and listening to a podcast. Yeah,
A really good true
listen.
crime podcast. Yeah.
I don't want to jinx it. So far, we've had really great books. So
what were you gonna say?
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh, okay.
Because then I'm like, I don't want the next one to be a dud.
I don't think it will.
Okay. So why don't we tell everybody what our next book is?
Okay, guys. So next month we are reading The Women by Kristin Hannah. Yep.
So we are very excited. Thank you so much for joining us for book club, and we will see you next Tuesday, as always, on the couch. All right. Bye, besties.
Bye.